Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at the Swagman XTC2 tilt bike rack here on our 2020 Hyundai Palisade. Now, it's a platform style bike rack holding the bike in these wheel hoops and primarily by this frame hook up top. Frame contact is going to mean we want to avoid our carbon frame bikes because this is putting a lot of pressure on that frame and we don't want to damage it. With alternative frame bikes and potentially kids bikes, we might need a bike adapter bar to ensure that the hook gets good contact on that frame and holds it well in those wheel cradles. So just watch out for that and maybe keep that in mind when you're looking at this rack. Other than that, it has a 35-pound weight capacity per bike and has the ability to tilt away with the bikes loaded. That is pretty cool. You can come down to the bottom here and pull out this silver pin and retaining clip. It's kind of underneath the rack, kind of hard to see, but with that out, we can tilt it away with bikes loaded to get hatch access. Now, for a more entry-level platform-style rack like this, that isn't always a super common feature, so it's great to see that it works, and it works well with the larger-sized tailgate on our Palisade. This is going to allow us to maybe change our shoes before or after a ride, or just get something out of the back without having to fully unload the bike rack just to open this up. I'll go ahead and close this up, and we can lift this back into place. One thing I like about it is that even though it doesn't automatically latch in, we have a pin, it is going to hold itself. So I can just come down here and mess with that pin with both hands because they can be a little tricky to get lined up properly, but this one's not too bad. At this point, I'll go ahead and unload the bike. We're going to start with the two wheel straps here. They're just these rubber straps that latch onto these posts on the wheel hoops. Those wheel hoops are adjustable, by the way, so we can accommodate for a variety of different wheelbases. And then with those undone, we can remove the hooks. We've got this gray button that will press in to release it, lift it off of that center mast. And they do have points where we can add a padlock to lock the bike up. And then with those both off, you can either feed the bike back or just lift it up over that mast. The center mast does present a bit of a conflict when you're trying to load or unload. It's just one extra thing you have to kind of fish the bike around, and it can make it a little bit tricky. But this one wasn't too bad. You saw I had enough room between my front tire and the frame to just kind of sneak that between. So overall, not bad. I always like to just add these back on. You can hear them ratchet down into place. And I like to replace the wheel straps as well. Now, even though it does tilt away, it doesn't really fold up or save that much space if you choose to leave it in the hitch. So when we get our measurements here, you're pretty limited to how it's going to actually be in the hitch. So as far as ground clearance goes, at the back end here, we are working with 16.5 inches of clearance. And at this point here, it's going to be about 12.5 to 13 inches. So pretty good. It is going to be a little bit lower to the ground than some other options out there, but I don't think we should have to worry about bottoming out too much. We can see how far it adds or how far it sticks out from the back of the vehicle here, only adding about 18.5 inches to the outermost point here. And if we want to leave this on the vehicle in the hitch between rides, we don't have bikes loaded, we can always pull this pin here and fold that center mast down to either side to save some space. Reinsert that pin through there. It is a little bit tricky to get it lined up properly. And right now we're actually hitting right there with the hook. But that'll just lock down in place. So if we need to leave this in the hitch, we can. We still get hatch access, everything like that. But like I said, it doesn't fold up against the vehicle to add less to the back. One thing it does do, though, that's pretty unique, is these side pieces, they've got pins of their own, and they fold upright. So when you pull those pins and reinsert them in the newly aligned holes, it's going to condense the bike rack down quite a bit. Those pins are significantly more difficult to get lined up, as I've noticed here, so just be mindful of that. And you can see that my cradles here are pretty loose because they're moving around freely. Just make sure you've got those tightened down when you're actually using the rack. But for here, it doesn't really do much for our vehicle because, if anything, it's just blocking our backup camera and our license plate more. But for storage in our garage, it's going to condense this down a great deal and make it pretty easy to pick up and carry around. So that's pretty unique about it. And otherwise, if you're looking at an entry-level platform-style rack, I think this is going to be a good option. It's going to work with a variety of different bikes. Maybe not the best option out there for alternative frame. I'd maybe look into the Hollywood Rack's Destination 2 bike for that one. But I do like that this one tilts away, which that Hollywood Rack's does not. So it's just a trade-off based on what you're looking for in a bike rack. Either way you go, they're going to work well with your Palisade here and last you a long time. Thanks for watching.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action. This simulates turning corners or evasively maneuvering. Once we get to the full speed bumps, we'll see the up and down action. This will be just like driving in and out of a parking lot, parking garage, or driveway. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement.